Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day, new year, same you. New Year's resolutions tend to disappear somewhere during that first quarter of the year, right? I know this ain't the first time you've heard that, but you know, when you go, studies show that when you go to the gym in the first couple weeks of January, it's packed. But when you go there in March, it's a little bit more room. When you go there in April, it's a lot more room than it was. It just people start out, they get all fired up. It's New Year. They just changed the calendar day. Just said it's a different month, a different day. And so what ends up happening is we get all this energy and excitement to start fresh. And then it kind of dwindles because the new year isn't about becoming somebody else. It's about sharpening who you already are, because it's the same you. It ain't new year, new you. It's the same person. It's the same you. But it's about we're going to get better. It's about sharpening who we already are. And so we're not starting over. We're leveling up. We're building upon last year's wins and losses and making a self-assessment. You know, first thing we got to look at is, all right, let me assess. Just got off a call where I was doing a call with some people for consulting, and we looked at, all right, what did we learn from last year? Let's just assess 2024. What did we learn from it? And so the first thing is, let's have a self-assessment and look at yourself in the mirror. Look at your business in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror and call it like it is. What did you crush last year? What did you do good at last year? Where did you fall short last year? Don't be afraid to take time out and write these things down. Don't just speed through it in your mind. Maybe put pen to paper. All right, here's some areas that I won last year. Here's some areas where we got better last year. Here's some areas where we fell short last year. And know what your strengths and weaknesses are so you could play the game this year strategically. What patterns do you have? Like, what do you typically struggle on the weekends with staying consistent? Do you have a pattern of winning, getting good results, and then falling off after that because you celebrate too long? Do you have a pattern of you had a failure, so you let one failure get you down to where you get negative and it just starts to loop into a hole? Find and identify what your patterns are. And if you're stuck in the same loop, it's on you to break it. Recognize what those traps are and try to avoid them. Try to get out of them before you even get in them. That's the best way to get out of a submission, is to not get in it in the first place. And so what traps are set for you? Where do you know you're weak at? What things do you know you need to avoid when you're making your self-assessment? And then once we do that, then the second step we got to look at is we got to have discipline and consistency. Brothers and sisters, if I had to pick two things that matter the most, it's probably going to be discipline and consistency, starting with the fundamentals, which we know aren't fun. Every champion got to nail the small stuff first. We got to nail the fundamentals first. Start with the fundamentals, which are discipline in those areas and consistency in those areas, and look at your routine and being in a routine and connect it to how you're going to win, because sometimes you can get into a routine and people think it's boring. Routine isn't boring. Consistency is basically routine. So routine can't be looked at as boring. That's how winners are made. We got to commit to your schedule and let it do the work for you. The work is preparing and planning. And all right, I did all the work. Now I just got to stick with what I put down and commit to that schedule with consistency and discipline. Cut the noise out. The distractions, the excuses. Shut those things down and stay focused on what's going to move your life forward, what's going to move you a little bit forward. Change the verbiage from can I to how can I. When you say can I, you're already starting to leave a little bit of room for excuses. How can I? Third thing is we got to look at building winning habits. Build on what you're already winning at, and then build these new habits into the existing habits that are positive in our favor. But let's build some winning habits. And they say, there's all these studies, man, to build a habit takes 21 days or it takes 6 weeks or whatever it is. I don't know how long it takes, but I know it takes longer than a week. And I know before it becomes a habit, discipline makes it a habit because it's doing some stuff that you don't feel like doing. So we got to have that long-term vision that gives you the short-term motivation, because to win is to play the long game. To win is to be good 3 years from today, to be good 2 years from today. They say what? Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is the best version of you. It's going to take time. It's going to take consistency, one day after another. I believe we got to have aim. So the next thing is you got to have a goal. You got to have a goal. You got to think big, but then do all the little things. Think big, act small. Everybody wants to do big things. Thinking of the outcome of doing the big thing is so much fun, but doing the small things day in, day out is not fun at all. So we got to develop the huge vision, but we got to handle our business one brick at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time. Write your goals down. And if your goals aren't on paper, written down, they usually just wishes. So we got to write them down. What are the goals? Break them goals down, because big goals need small action. Number 5 is own your journey. Visualization. Visualize yourself at the top. Owning every moment, walking in it. Because the mind leads and the body follows. They say winners keep score, right? So what can you keep score of? Track the things, the top metrics in your area, in your business and things, and just track it and keep score. Measure your progress. Goals aren't really goals if you can't measure it. So measure your progress. And we're either growing or we're dying. We're either getting better or we're getting worse. Every setback, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have things that don't work out. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. It's an opportunity. We all like to watch, these motivational stories, movies. Most of the most motivational stories and movies and people that inspire you are people that fail, people that had to overcome something, and they did. So quit crying, learn from it, and come back stronger. Whatever you failed at, whatever got the best of you for a moment, grow from it. I know we like to grow from our wins than we do in our losses. But for whatever the reason, the brain is just looks like we are just wired. We learn so much more sometimes in these losses. None of us wants to lose. None of us wants to go through these dark times, these hard times, these trying times. But those are the moments when you look back that they shape you and take you to the next level. You don't need to turn into a completely different person. You don't need to be somebody else to crush it this year. You have what it takes. It's all within. It's all inside of you. You just got to be the best version of you and stay disciplined and refuse to settle. So it's a new year. We came into it with the same body. We came into it with the same person. You can create whatever you want to create for 2025. You can be whoever you want to be 2025. Let's write them down. Let's write them goals down. Let's break it down and do all the small things on a weekly basis. 52 weeks will run up on you real quick. Let's just get a win, one win at a time. Can we get a win this week? Let's get a win this week in all the areas that we said that we wanted to win at. All the little things that we said that we wanted to win at. Let's get a win this week. Take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, so we could have the best 2025 that we could possibly have. And not speaking of 2025, I just really appreciate you. Those of you that have rolled with us last year and that have been with us for a while, we appreciate all the time and energy and attention that you give us. Every time we do this, you could be spending your time. You could have spent these 10, 11 minutes. You could have spent them anywhere in the world, and you chose to spend them with us. And we just want you to know how grateful that we are, and we appreciate you for that. If there's any special topics or anything that you want to see us cover, give us a shout on IG. Hit them DMs for us, and we'll try to tailor something specific to you this 2025. All right. As always, we appreciate you. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day.